I've always been fascinated by conspiracy theories. They used to seem like puzzles, pieces scattered across history waiting to be put together. At first, I didn't really believe them. How could a handful of powerful people pull the strings on global events without anyone knowing? It felt too far-fetched. But the more I read, the more I started questioning what I thought I knew. The theories about the moon landing, secret societies, even deep state operations, all of it began to make sense after a while. My interest in conspiracy theories led me to the dark corners of the web, places not everyone knew about, where people whispered about things too dangerous for the surface web. But even the dark web wasn't the final layer. I learned that from a guy in an encrypted chat room who went by the name Atlas. Atlas claimed there was another level to the internet, a place where the true puppeteers of the world operated, the Shadow Protocol. At first, I dismissed it as just another outlandish theory, but the way Atlas talked, with a confidence that came from knowing something the rest of us didn't, made me curious. He told me the protocol wasn't some mysterious organization or shadow government. It was a system, a set of rules created centuries ago that ensured the world would always be controlled by the same few, hidden behind layers of governments, corporations, and even revolutions. According to Atlas, once you started looking, you'd find traces of the protocol everywhere. Major historical events, the rise and fall of empires, even the invention of the internet, all connected by unseen forces. He claimed the protocol was real and that it was so vast and well hidden that no one could fully comprehend it. Only pieces of the puzzle were available, scattered across the deepest corners of the internet, encoded in ways that only those with the right knowledge could decipher. Atlas gave me a link, a dark web address that was cryptic and seemed inactive. "Start here," he said, "but be careful. Once you go down this rabbit hole, there's no turning back." I didn't take him seriously, not at first. I thought it would just be another conspiracy forum or maybe some cryptic documents that I'd have to spend hours trying to decrypt. But I was wrong. The link led me to a page that seemed like a dead end, a black screen with a single line of text. "Enter the cipher." I didn't know what it meant, and after trying a few random guesses, I gave up. That night, I dreamt about strange symbols, twisted shapes that seemed to form words but didn't make sense. When I woke up, I had a thought. The dream, or whatever it was, must have been my subconscious mind processing the cipher. I opened the link again, and this time I typed in the symbols from my dream. The screen blinked. A new page loaded, dark, minimalist, with white text on a black background. There were no links, no images, just blocks of text written in an unfamiliar code. But I had a feeling this was what I was looking for. Over the next few days, I immersed myself in deciphering the text. At first, it was slow going, but once I cracked the initial code, it all came flooding in. References to historical events, wars, assassinations, technological advances, all pointing to the existence of a hidden system. This was the protocol, and I was slowly uncovering its secrets. The deeper I went, the more disturbing it became. According to what I uncovered, the protocol wasn't just a passive system of control. It actively manipulated reality, steering human events in ways that served its purposes. Revolutions, economic crashes, even pandemics were all part of its design, implemented to maintain the balance of power. What scared me most wasn't the idea of global manipulation, though. It was the realization that the protocol wasn't run by humans. The more I dug, the more references I found to something called the architect. At first, I thought it was just another name for the people behind the protocol, but the more I read, the more it became clear. The architect wasn't human. It was something older, more abstract, an entity that existed beyond our perception of reality. It didn't have a physical form, but it had been influencing the world since the dawn of civilization. The protocol wasn't just a system of control. It was a prison, designed to keep humanity from discovering the truth about the architect. At this point, I should have stopped. I was getting into territory I didn't understand, and the more I uncovered, the more I felt like I was being watched. I started noticing things, small details that didn't seem right. My computer would freeze at odd times, the power would flicker, and sometimes I'd hear strange clicks on my phone when I made calls. At first I thought it was paranoia, but then the messages started. The first one was just a simple email with no subject. The body of the message contained a single line: "You've seen too much." I ignored it, assuming it was some troll from one of the forums I visited. But then, the emails became more frequent, more direct. They started to reference specific things I'd been researching, documents I thought were encrypted. Someone, or something, was watching me. It didn't stop there. One night, as I was working late, there was a knock at the door. It was a quiet knock, soft, deliberate. I checked the peephole, but there was no one there. The knocking continued for a few minutes, then stopped abruptly. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I found an envelope slipped under my door. Inside was a single sheet of paper with coordinates written on it, along with a time and date. The coordinates pointed to a location a few hours outside the city, deep in the woods. The time was midnight. I didn't know what to think. Part of me wanted to ignore it, but the other part, the part that had been chasing answers for so long, couldn't let it go. I needed to know the truth. The night of the meeting, I drove out to the location, unsure of what to expect. The road was dark and empty, the trees on either side casting long shadows under the moonlight. As I neared the coordinates, I saw a figure standing at the edge of the woods, dressed in a black coat, their face obscured by the shadows. I stopped the car and got out, my heart racing. The figure didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, waiting. I approached slowly, my hand trembling as I reached for the envelope I had brought with me, the one that contained all the information I had gathered about the protocol. I thought maybe this was Atlas, or someone connected to him. Maybe they had answers. When I was just a few feet away, the figure finally spoke, their voice low and distorted, like it was being filtered through a machine. "You've seen too much," they said. "The architect knows." Before I could respond, everything went black. I don't remember falling. I don't remember hitting the ground. When I woke up, I was back in my apartment, my laptop open on the desk in front of me. The screen was blank except for a single line of text: "The protocol is watching." I tried to move, but my body was frozen, paralyzed. My mind raced, trying to make sense of what had happened. The figure, the message, it wasn't just a warning. It was a threat. And now I'm trapped. Trapped in this body. Trapped in this world, with the knowledge that the protocol is real, and that the architect is watching. I shouldn't have searched for answers. I should have stayed away from the dark web, from the theories, from the protocol, because once you've seen too much, there's no way out.